All right, welcome back. Welcome back to the Nosebleeds. This is Tyrell, and today we're actually going to do two things because we had some big breaking news happen over the course of today. First off, if this is your first time here, welcome. If your guys are coming back, welcome back. And look, we got some big news that came out of the NBA today. Chauncey Billups, Damian Jones, and Terry Rozier all under arrest or suspected allegedly. We have to use allegedly of essentially sports gambling with the mafia, illegal sports betting with the mafia. So we're going to talk about that. Also, it is the weekly power rankings for the NFL, and this is the first time that we're doing this live because I had a corrupt file with the power rankings recording that last night, and it didn't get released until much later. See if I can adjust the lighting here a little bit. Maybe I don't know. That's gonna. I don't like how bad that glare is. But anyway, so we're gonna go through the power rankings. Matter of fact, we're gonna go through the power rankings very quickly because we got bigger things to discuss, and that is the NBA. And in the middle of the NFL video, I got to talk about the NBA. I've been wanting to talk about more NBA stuff, but yeah, this ended up breaking. So we're gonna go over some of the articles, the involvement of Gilbert, LeBron James being accused of doing this along with Anthony Davis. Going to go over that. FBI had a 18-minute press conference. We're probably not going to watch all of that, but we're going to go over that as well. Let's power through these power rankings right now. So we didn't do power rankings last week. So we're gonna run down week seven's power rankings, and then we're gonna run down week eight's power rankings. It's not gonna be a lot of explanation for the power rankings today because this is more about the NBA. We're gonna essentially cram two videos into one. All right. So week seven power rankings. Let's start off with that. 32, the New York Jets. They were ranked 30. They stayed at the same spot. Cleveland Browns were ranked 31st. They were ranked 28th. Let's just go through it. 30 was New Orleans Saints, Vegas Raiders at 29, 28 the Tennessee Titans, Miami Dolphins at 27, Baltimore at 26, Cincy 25, Arizona 24, Dallas 23, Houston 22, Carolina Panthers 21, New York Giants 20, Minnesota Vikings at 19, Bears 18, 49ers 17, Patriots 16, the Pittsburgh Steelers at 15, the Denver Broncos at 14, Jags at 13, Kansas at 12, Falcons at 11, Philadelphia at 10, Seahawks 9, Washington 8, Chargers 7, Indy 6, Buffalo 5, Detroit 4, Green Bay 3, Rams 2, and the Buccaneers 1. That was week 7. That was last week's. Let's go on to this week's. We're more worried about the NFL, not the NFL, the NBA. We're worried about more about the NBA. This was when I scheduled this live earlier today. It was really supposed to happen at 4 o'clock. I had to make dinner, so I was like, you know what? Let's push it back to 7. Um, let's go over this week's power rankings. New York Jets at 32. They don't move a spot at all. Miami Dolphins at 31. They were ranked 27th last week. The Raiders at 30. They were ranked 29th. They go down a spot. Tennessee at 29. They go down a spot from 28. New Orleans Saints. They move up 2 spots. They were ranked 30th last week. The Browns at 27. Nice belt to ass whooping on the Miami Dolphins. Arizona Cardinals at 26. Baltimore at 25. They were on a bye week. Houston at 24. New York Giants at 23. They were 20th last week. Cincy at 22. Dallas at 21. Carolina at 20. Minnesota at 19. Atlanta at 18. Jacksonville at 17. They've been playing sloppy the last couple of games. Pittsburgh at 16. San Francisco at 15. Chicago at 14, the Chargers at 13. I think I'm starting to think they are a top 10 team as of right now. They're a little too inconsistent for me, but still not a middle of the pack team. New England at 12 on a 4-game win streak. Denver at 11. Great comeback against the New York Giants. Kansas City at 10. Washington 9. Seattle 8. Philadelphia 7. Buffalo 6. Tampa 5. Indianapolis Colts 4. Yes, the Colts are a top 5 team to me. The Green Bay Packers 3. Los Angeles Rams 2. Detroit Lions putting belt to ass on Tampa gives them at the number 1 spot. Predictions. We're going through this. Minnesota versus the Chargers tonight, which is happening in about an hour. Give me the Los Angeles Chargers. Give me the Buffalo Bills over Carolina. Give me the Jets' first win against the Cincinnati Bengals. Give me the Patriots over Cleveland. Give me Baltimore over Chicago. I think Baltimore starts their comeback on the season. Give me San Francisco over Houston. Give me Atlanta over Miami. Give me Philadelphia in the revenge game against the New York Giants. Give me New Orleans for the surprise win against Tampa. I just think something division game, something like that. Dallas over Denver. Pittsburgh over Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers' first game against the Packers. Washington will lose against Kansas City. No Marcus Mariota. No Jaden Daniels, Marcus Mariota is starting. Those are the predictions. Let me see if I can figure out why this is glaring back here because that looks terrible. And then we'll go over the whatchamacallit. We would go over what's been going on in the NBA today. So let's do this. I don't know how I'm gonna. We don't know how to do that. So. I don't know how to adjust the camera feature. So let me do this real quick. We'll shut that off today. So that's what we'll do. We're gonna shut the scoreboard off today. It looks pretty bad. All right. I guess I have to adjust some settings with this crappy computer. All right. I'm trying to. Yep, this is gonna be the boring part of the. Because I promise you guys, this was not like this when I first got on. You know what? I think I know what it is. Let's do that. I might just turn the brightness down on my. I don't think that turns down. That's since nobody's watching, and anybody that watches the replay, they're like, man, what is he doing? I am trying to figure out how to adjust my camera. Here's what we're gonna do. Okay. So we ran through the power rankings. Let's just get this thing going. Right. So that might have something to do with it as well. All right. So Chauncey Billups arrested. FBI holds a press conference. Let's Damian Jones listed LeBron James. My friends watching, y'all know why I'm happy about that. As a sports bet gambler, nobody's surprised by that if you paid attention. LeBron likes to gamble a lot, so that doesn't surprise me at all. And what we're gonna do is we are going to let's see, President Damon Jones. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We are going to go over the press conference of the FBI. Not gonna go through all of it. I don't think. Fair use. I want to reiterate fair use. Let's go ahead and do that. So let's go ahead and screen share, and we are going to go over this press conference. This is pretty big. Terry Rozier, Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones arrested, and what I think is going to happen as well is that now that Damon Jones has dropped LeBron James into this investigation, don't be surprised if they do investigation. One or two things happen. Either they're going to quote unquote clear him, or they're going to arrest him. And I think they're going to clear him because he's LeBron Ramon James. He has a lot of money. He has a huge PR team behind him, and they know how to shut people up, including the government. I think that could happen. There's going to be no wrongdoing. There's LeBron James. No wrong. Let's find out. Let's go ahead and listen to this press conference. Again, I want to reiterate. I don't know if this is true for FBI press conferences. I know this is on the ESPN page. I don't know how true this is on for government press conferences, but we're still going to use the fair use because we're reacting and reviewing. So let's go ahead and let's not waste time.
I'm going to turn the podium over to FBI Director.
Good morning. Today, we are here in New York to announce a historic arrest across a wide sweeping criminal enterprise that envelops both the NBA and La Casa Nostra. The men and women up here standing with me represent a small portion of the leadership team that brought profound justice in an era that needed it more than any. I'll just highlight some of the details in the case and the FBI work, and then you'll hear from the others. But as you now know, individuals such as Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and Terry Rozier were taken into custody today, former, current NBA players and coaches. What you don't know is that this is an illegal gambling operation and sports rigging operation that spanned the course of years. The FBI led a coordinated takedown across 11 states to arrest over 30 individuals today responsible for this case, which is very much ongoing.
Now, I am gonna say this. I know, and I kind of got this from a couple of friends of mine, basically saying like, "Oh, well, if LeBron's a part of this, why hasn't he been arrested?" And I want to say this, right? I think it came to a shock to the FBI that LeBron was a part of this. I don't think they thought any wrongdoing, didn't think about looking into it. They haven't heard anything about LeBron being involved in this, but Damon Jones dropping LeBron James' name, they're going to investigate this. If they investigated this across 11 states, 30 different people arrested, we know about the 3 big names. This is going to continue. I personally believe that this is if you guys know about like the history of baseball and the 1918 World Series between the Chicago White Sox and the Cincinnati Reds and how that was rigged thanks to the mafia, that was a huge deal. That was a very, very big deal. That was some of the biggest names in sports at that time, including Shoeless Joe Jackson. Um, that was huge. I think this is our generation's Black Sox scandal. I think this will be something we will look back on and decipher more and more as more information come out. I think it's about to be a little bit of foul play. I will be the first one to admit I am not a LeBron James fan, but I'm not gonna let. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I'm not even gonna play. I am going to scrutinize every fucking thing because I can read right through the bullshit. I don't give a fuck. And conspiracies, no. I'm gonna scrutinize anything that's not fair and just towards LeBron Ramon James. Okay, because I think some shady bull crap is about to happen. I'm telling you, he gonna be the one that's scotch free. Well, I don't know what to talk about. LeBron James. Yeah. LeBron James. I ain't had nothing to do with it. Look at me. I average 30, I average 25 points a game. I do it. Yeah. LeBron James. Let's just watch.
Not only did we crack into the fraud that these perpetrators committed on the grand stage of the NBA, but we also entered and executed a system of justice against La Casa Nostra to include the Bonanno, Gambino, Genovese, and Lucchese crime families. And you'll hear more about those details today. The charges and the arrests that were taken down across this country range from wire fraud, money laundering, extortion, robbery, illegal gambling. This FBI will leave no room for any perpetrator of crime across the country. You hear a lot about our work of defending the homeland and crushing violent crime. Well, this work is also representative of a colossal portion of the FBI's mandate to keep America safe and to keep our entertainment industry fair and secure.
Not to get too conspiracy theory, but where are the you-know-what files? Want to keep America safe? Let's talk about those. But we ain't going to talk about that. I'm not going to get into the whole, this is a distraction to something else. It probably is. But and I'm not one of those people that they need to do everything because it's only a certain amount of people. FBI is huge, they're big, they're if I mention them, they're probably watching. But at the end of the day, I thought that was rain at first. At the end of the day, they these are still human beings, shady, yeah, but human beings nonetheless that can't be everywhere at once. This is something they've been building up towards for years. So let's just see, what's gonna happen because if they have years upon years, remember Gilbert Arenas was the first arrest, was the first major arrest, And I know he kind of went on his show and trolling about snitch and all this other stuff. But if Gil is one of the first major arrests, what's to say that Gilbert is not working with the feds to get a lighter sentence? Something to think about. And I think a lot of people are thinking about that in general.
Men and women that are standing up here today worked tireless hours, days, months, and years. And the fraud is mind-boggling. It's not hundreds of dollars. It's not thousands of dollars. It's not tens of thousands of dollars. It's not even millions of dollars. We're talking about tens of millions of dollars in fraud and theft and robbery across a multi-nation. And we could not have done it without our interagency partners that are before us today. The NYPD, HSI, and teams of law enforcement officials from around the country made this day possible. It takes a team to bring this kind of justice, sweeping justice, into the halls of the United States courtrooms, where our brave United States attorney has led this prosecution. It takes courageous prosecutors to stand before you and say, we will not allow this kind of illicit activity to happen, not only at the national sporting level, but also where it hides in La Cosa Nostra. And when these two collided together, they perpetrated a fraud that is historic in terms
I
of
don't know what's going on with the quality. Let's see. That's the highest they go. It's 720. All right.
not just money, but the scheme and the deceit that they utilize to steal and swindle people from money, to include crypto fraud. This is an operation that showcases to you that under President Trump's administration, there is no room for any type of criminal behavior, be it on the world's largest stage or in the back rooms of tiny parlors where card games are being played.
You know, and I will, like, let's bring up the Stephen A thing, right? Because a lot of people gave Stephen A backlash for saying that, hey, this might be a personal thing for Trump because of everything that has transpired with the NBA and Trump and the NBA players and Trump and all that other stuff. And, you know, a lot of people saying that was a ridiculous take, and, you know, that was one of the worst things he said. Trust me, Stephen A. Smith has said a lot worse. However, you cannot put that on the back burner as a terrible take. It wouldn't surprise me if Trump, like, I think the odds are that Trump, like, was like, well, you know, Kash Patel, what a wonderful guy, Kash Patel. You're going to bust the NBA players, you're going to bust them, you're going to bust them in record deals and huge deals, and they're spending millions and millions of American dollars, and you're going to get them real good because I trust you. I believe in you. Like, I highly doubt that, right? But, like, overall, like, would I be surprised knowing that Trump has said multiple times, like, I don't know how Charlie Kirk, this is what he said at Charlie Kirk's funeral. I don't know what happened with Charlie Kirk. He's a wonderful guy. He forgave his enemies. He broke bread with his enemies. That's not verbatim, but, you know, you get the gist. And he's like, well, you know, I'm not that guy. I like to bring my enemies down. I like to bring them down in record deals in record time. I like to crush my enemies. I can't forgive my enemies, but that's what made him so special, because he forgives all of his enemies and I don't. And with that thinking, is like, would that surprise anybody that these players or this league has been, and so long with the WNBA, has been highly critical of this president? This is not to get too political. I'm not. It's about the most political thing I'm going to get into with this recording. Would it surprise me if Donald Trump wanted to take down the NBA in this fashion? No, it wouldn't. However, for Kash to come on here and say, hey, we've been investigating this for years. How long has this investigation been going on? Has this been going on since the Biden administration, or has this been going on since Trump's first term? Either way, there is enough evidence to have arrest warrants to these people, to these alleged suspects.
We are proud to stand here today with the men and women of the FBI and this legal team. And to the United States Attorney, I just want to thank you personally for taking the time to display the work that the media is about to hear about today in detail. As I said, it does take courageous prosecutors, but it takes a courageous United States Attorney to bring this case, because we are going to take heat for it. But we don't shy away in this administration. We don't say no. What we do is we bring the results across the finish line. We bring them to the public. We bring you accountability. And yes, they will have their day in court.
Where's the accountability for those files?
And you will hear the evidence through the court system exclusively. We will not deny anyone of due process. And that's the brilliance of this system. That's the brilliance of this administration. Everyone will be held to account. So with that, I turn it over to United States Attorney Nocella. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Patel. To be clear, we're announcing today indictments in two major cases. One involves sports betting, and the other involves illegal gambling, very specifically rigged poker games.
See, again, me with anybody involved. People love poker, no matter how much money you make, no matter if you're lower, middle, or upper class. Like, it does not matter. Poker or blackjack, whatever it may be. Like, this is a common card games. Putting money on these card games has always been a test of time. So it doesn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me knowing LeBron James love to gamble. You know, he know how to hide the shit from everybody. But people have been paying attention. You know, you had that one guy that you had that one fan that was trying to break through LeBron James security while he was in Las Vegas. You know, trying to say what's up to him, whatever it may be. And LeBron didn't like it because, hey, one, this is random fan, but also showing people that he gambles. Like, we have video of LeBron James gambling. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when you're involved in something like this, for anybody that's going to sit back and say, well, that's not the case, you're overreaching. We've done this way too many times with other people. We will use clips to justify a point. And that's what's about to happen. They're going to go back and go, you're going to have to search. Trust me, LeBron James' team has buried this, but you're going to search for it. You're going to eventually find it. You're going to search for it. You're going to eventually find it. You will find the video where LeBron James is gambling. He's at some card, I don't know, his blackjack or whatever it may be, and there's a fan that's trying to say what's up to him and is recording him. And you can see LeBron, and you can see that fan getting stopped by his security team. They're going to use that clip as yep, LeBron James did it. In fairness of this country, you are innocent to proven guilty. However, this don't surprise me at all. And to my friends and my family that I have been talking to about this for years privately, my validation day is here. My validation day is here.
The first indictment involves 6 defendants who are alleged to have participated one of the most brazen sports corruption since online sports betting became widely legalized in the United States. This scheme is an insider sports betting conspiracy that exploited confidential information about National Basketball Association athletes and teams. The second indictment involves 31 defendants alleged to have participated in a nationwide scheme to rig illegal poker games. These defendants, which include former professional athletes, used high-tech cheating technology to steal millions of dollars from victims in underground poker games that were secretly fixed. The games in the New York area were backed by the Bonanno, Gambino, and Genovese crime families of La Cosa Nostra. While the cases are separate, there are 3 overlapping defendants charged in both cases: Damon Jones, Eric Ernest, and Shane Hennon. The indictments in these cases contain only allegations, and the defendants are presumed innocent until they are proven guilty in a court of law.
And that's the thing too, right? Again, this press conference, we're watching this press conference through ESPN's YouTube channel, Fair Use, Fair Use, Fair Use. And that's the thing, innocent to proven guilty, but you got Damon Jones, who used to play basketball, former teammate of LeBron James, name drops LeBron James and Anthony Davis, also a coach of his. Chauncey Billups, head coach of the Portland Trail Blazers. Like, these are very prominent guys that can, even if all the other players aren't involved, let's give I can't believe I'm about to say this. Let's give LeBron James a fair shot in this regard. Let's say LeBron truly, not PR wise, but truly is found innocent. Damon Jones can figure out ways to limit LeBron James' ability to not fuck up the fix, essentially. But however, Damon Jones is dropping LeBron James to Anthony Davis when he's coached. I know people are gonna, they're the biggest star, but he's coached all. He has played with players and all these different people. For him to name, it's pretty damn it. Even if this wasn't LeBron, I know some people are gonna look back and like, hey, you're not a LeBron fan and all this other stuff. Name dropping two people that DI and the U.S. Attorney General was not looking at, right? Because if they were looking at the way they were making this, Anthony Davis and LeBron James would have more than likely been arrested as well. So I highly believe that the Attorney General and the FBI were genuinely surprised to hear Damon Jones says LeBron and Anthony Davis were part of this as well. For the people that say, why would LeBron do this? He makes a lot of money. That will make no sense, right? Why wouldn't he do it? Because if you are presented, hey, you got all this money, but we can make you more money. Because we already seen with Chauncey, we see with Damon Jones, Billups gets paid great money. He's an NBA head coach. Damon Jones made solid money as an NBA player and then as a coach. So let's not put it past anybody. No matter how much money you make, when gambling gets people, it gets people. That's why we have, quote unquote, 1-800-GAMBLER. If you have a gambling addiction, 1-800-GAMBLER. That is why we also have, a gambling hotline like 1-800-GAMBLER. That's why every single gambling company, whether they say it or put it in the fine print below the commercials, they have to put the disclaimer legally. It is illegal for you not to have that disclaimer. Radio commercial, you have to have that disclaimer. YouTube commercial, you have to have that disclaimer. TV, you have to have that disclaimer. Gambling is a massive problem across this entire country, across the entire world. And it doesn't what tax bracket you end up in or are in. It gets everybody when they get the bug.
But my message to the defendants who've been rounded up today is this. Your winning streak has ended. Your luck has run out. Violating the law is a losing proposition, and you can bet on that.
He tried to cook with that.
First, I would like to talk about United States versus Ernest, the NBA basketball gambling case. The defendants in this case are Eric Ernest, Marvez Farley, Shane Hennon, Deniro Laster, Damon Jones, a former NBA player and coach, and Terry Rozier, a current NBA player. Other co-conspirators were previously charged for their roles in the scheme, including former NBA player Jontay Porter. Between December 2022 and March 2024, these defendants perpetrated a scheme to defraud by betting on inside non-public information about NBA athletes and teams.
Okay, that answers the question. Did they start this investigation in the first Trump administration or during Biden's administration? The answer is Biden's administration.
The non-public information included when specific players would be sitting out future games or when they would pull themselves out early for purported injuries or illnesses. They relied on corrupt individuals, including Jones and Rozier. They also misused information.
Which, real quick, before we continue with this is something I pulled up on X, and it's part of the the deposition. Let's go ahead and read this real quick. Chris Mannix from Sports Illustrated published this on his Twitter. I'm gonna I call it Twitter. It's X. They call it, it's officially called X, but we know it's Twitter. And I bring this up because of the simple fact that he just said like, hey, they reported, getting sitting out games and anything like that. And that makes you question things too, right? Like the load management thing. Now that has to go into serious question. Like, is the load management thing like where players like, oh, I'm sitting out this game? Is that really what it is, or is it more so like, I think of stuff like that. Like, okay, how much was this load management? How much was this like essentially like you sit back and say like, yeah, yeah, that's I think you guys know where I'm kind of going with this. And yeah, it makes you think. It makes you wonder like what was actual load management? What was, hey, we're rigging this. So let's go ahead and let's do this. Trying to figure this. I don't know what happened to my toolbar right here. Okay. Let me see. I'm sorry, guys. There you go. I think I got it now. Okay. Nope, that's still not that. All right, let's go ahead and let's do this. Let's read this. Now, hopefully, you guys know. So here it is. This is what Chris Mannix posted right here. Defendant Damon Jones was a former NBA player and assistant coach. Jones played in the NBA from 99 through 2008. I don't know how to zoom in on this picture, so I apologize if it's hard to read. Including as a member of the Cleveland Cavaliers from 2005 through 2008. Jones was assistant of the Cavaliers from 14 through 18. Jones was also an unofficial assistant of the Los Angeles Lakers from 22 to 23. Now, if you know about Damon Jones and Coach LeBron James in his second stint. And I want to say that Damon Jones also went down to Miami when LeBron James did. Because I know that Damon Jones went to, I know Zadrunas went with Zadrunas went with LeBron James when he went down to Miami just that first year. And sure, because after the Cavaliers thing, he went to Milwaukee. Then he played overseas for a little bit, and then he came over and coached the Canton Charge, and was on the Cavaliers assistant staff and won an NBA championship as an assistant coach. So yeah, let's continue on. During many of the 3 years, Jones was teammates of a prominent NBA player. Says player 3, an individual whom, let's see, whose identity is known to the grand juror. So they say prominent, let's say teammate or coach of a prominent NBA player. During those 3 years, from 05 through 08 and 14 through 18, we know the prominent player, but the grand jury knew him as player number 3. But if the jury had sports knowledge, they would know that would have been LeBron Ramon James. By virtue of this relationship with player 3, the Lakers and other NBA personnel, the defendant Jones had access to non-public information, including medical information that had not been released to the public. On multiple occasions during the 22-23 and the 23 and 24 NBA season, including as early as December 2022, Jones sold or attempted to sell for profit non-public information to others, including the defendant Eric Ernest and Mavis Fairley and others, for the purpose of causing or enabling to face fraudulent wages based on non-public information. If it's getting hard for me, I'm going to zoom. I'm going to do a self zoom in. For example, on or about February 9th, 2023, the Lakers played against the Milwaukee Bucks. On the morning of February 9th, the game, the defendant Damon Jones sent a text message to co-conspirator number 9, writing, "Get a big bet on Milwaukee tonight before the information is out. Player 3 is out tonight. Bet enough so D Jones can eat now," or something like that. At the time, Jones provided the non-public information about player 3 to co-conspirator number 9. Player 3 was not ruled out of the NBA. Yeah, it says player 3 was not ruled out of the NBA injury report for the February 9th game due to the lower body injury. Player 3 did not play the game which the Lakers lost. Now, if we go to February 9th, let's go to February 9th, 2023. And I believe that was one of LeBron James's groin injury. Now you see articles about it. Different articles now. Yeah, so here were the starters for the Los Angeles Lakers. And let's go ahead and click that. Sure. So, all right, here we go. So, as you with the groin injury, Troy Brown Jr., Anthony Davis, Dennis Schroeder, whoever that is, and Max Christie in the area reserves. LeBron James did not dress. Scottie Pippen Jr. not with the team. And I wonder with that information, I think LeBron was dealing with a groin injury at the time. Let's look at the Los Angeles Lakers schedule for that year. Let's see if they pulled that up. And then we're going to see when was the next game LeBron James ended up playing. Whenever this decides to load up. Here we go. Stop sharing for now. Let's see. Yeah, so we're gonna try to break this down because we're gonna see when was the next game that LeBron James played after February 9th of 2023. We know that he did not play this game, but the next game that the Lakers played was against the Warriors, and that was a win against them. And let's go to the actual game here. Box score. It looked like Anthony Davis had 16 rebounds that game. Better Google searches when was the next game he played afterwards. And let's do. Again, if this is your first time here, welcome. You guys come back. Welcome back. So let's look up next game LeBron played after February 9th, 2023. You gotta love when it's loading. Gotta love it. Let's see. Okay, so look, here we go. Let's go ahead and let's screen share this right here. Again, welcome. And then we'll go back. We'll eventually go back to the press conference because we were watching the press conference as well. We'll go back to that. So here we go. So the next game, so LeBron James played in the regular season game. This is where he broke the all-time record February 7th, 2023, and would not play until the All-Star game. So he set out from him breaking the record to the All-Star game, he did not play. And as you can see, they had 2 games. It looked like they only had 2 games after that was the Bucks and the 11th against the Warriors. He played in the All-Star game, and yeah, that's about it. So Damon Jones knew this before it hit the public. So there's your fix right there. Now I wonder what the injury was listed, but for him to just miss 2 games and then to play the All-Star game, that's crazy. So based off of that information, he might just get off scotch-free. But I'm optimistic. Me personally. I know I'm an asshole sometimes, but whatever. Let's go ahead and let's go back to the press conference. Here we go. But best believe that the FBI is going to start sniffing into Liberty Davis for sure.
Obtained through long-standing friendships that they had with NBA players and coaches. And in at least one instance, they got their information by threatening a current player Porter because of his pre-existing gambling debts. Defendants used this non-public information to place hundreds of thousands of dollars in fraudulent bets, mostly in the form of prop bets on individual player performance. The bets were placed through online sports books, and the defendants relied on a network of straw bettors to place the maximum amount of bets to increase their potential profits. Most of these bets succeeded, and the intended losses were in the millions of dollars. The defendants then laundered their illegal winnings in various ways: peer-to-peer platforms, bank wires, and simple cash exchanges. The indictment detailed where the defendants profited from illegal gambling and illegal betting on various performance of players on, among other things, the Charlotte Hornets, the Portland Trail Blazers, the Los Angeles Lakers, and the Toronto Rangers. Each defendant in the NBA basketball gambling case has been charged with conspiracy to commit wire fraud and conspiracy to commit money laundering.
Okay, let's rewind that back.
Each defendant in the NBA basketball gambling case has been charged with conspiracy to commit gambling and illegal betting on various NBA games about the performance of players on, among other things, the Charlotte Hornets, the Portland Trail Blazers, the Los Angeles Lakers, and the Toronto Rangers. Each defendant in the NBA basketball gambling case has been charged with conspiracy to commit wire fraud and conspiracy to commit money laundering.
So I don't think that is the organization in of itself. I think that is like players that have played inside that organization during that time frame. I believe so. I could be wrong about that.
Now, I would like to turn to the other case, United States versus the rigged poker game case. Beginning as early as 2019, the defendants in this case orchestrated a scheme to use wireless cheating technology to run rigged poker games across the United States, including in the Hamptons, Las Vegas, Miami, and Manhattan. The scheme targeted victims known as, quote, fish, who were often lured to participate in these rigged games by the chance to play alongside former professional athletes who were known as, quote, face cards. The so-called face cards included the defendant Chauncey Billups, who at the time of the scheme was a former NBA player and is currently the head coach of the Portland Trail Blazers, and also Damon Jones, a former NBA player and coach.
I wonder if, because I haven't heard anything about Billups losing his job, but I would imagine he does. Or Portland's just going to wait until, until the investigation is done and over with. But I don't think we need to see any more at the press conference. But yeah, this is something that's going to be ongoing and continuing. We went through the power rankings and the predictions very fast to talk about this. And this is something that more information has to come out, more research needs to be done. And the whole 9 yards. What is the involvement of LeBron James? Because I've seen a lot of different things, like he was actually involved, or he was allegedly involved, or two. Well, it was just his injury report. And if it's just his injury report, as much as I don't like LeBron James, I'm not a person that does not shy away that I am not a LeBron James fan whatsoever. I think fair is fair at the end of the day. And if it's just his injury report and he absolutely had nothing to do with that, then that's not on him. However, the fact that you don't play for 2 games, but then you're playing the All-Star game is a little fishy to me. And with Damon Jones and LeBron James being buddy-buddy like this, to me, that just screams conspiracy. That screams to me that LeBron is like, hey, I'm sitting this one out. Do what you got to go do. Cut me in. Do I know that for sure? No. But we know these conversations do happen. So we're going to end the stream here. I will keep you guys updated on this. We went through the power rankings, probably the fastest round we ever been. We'll be back to a regular power rankings video next week for sure. Last week I needed a mental break from that Browns Steelers game. This week we rushed through it to get to this NBA stuff. More will be coming out. And I think a lot of people are making fun that Gilbert did a lot of snitching, but Gilbert was arrested 4 months ago. And now they have a lot of the loose ends tied up to. I think when they arrested Gilbert and they got access to his phone, they were able to tie up loose ends to make these arrests for today. So how much Gilbert is going to play involved in this? I think a lot more than I think people are joking about it, but I don't think people realize like he's going to be very involved, in my opinion. This is Tyler from the Nosebleeds. Thank you all for joining the Nosebleed section. Whether it was you staying for a long time on the replay or just popping in or whatever it may be. Thank you all for watching. We're 96. We got 96 subscribers. We're 4 away. So please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, this is Tyrell signing off.